They're finally here. Tesla just announced the Model 3 and Model Y standard version. After what feels like decades of waiting, this entry-level model is finally real. So now the Model 3 and Model Y have a more clear lineup. You've got the standard at the bottom, premium in the middle, and then performance up top. But here's the thing, these two cars should have made everything easier, more affordable, more approachable, easier to understand. But after looking at them, seeing what Tesla is offering, I'm more confused than I was before. But I do think that Tesla has a plan for this. We've been hearing about this more affordable model for years at this point, and it was clear that Tesla needed something because, in the mid to high range, they had plenty of options, but they never really got down to that truly affordable mark. I still don't think they have, but at least that was kind of the goal. Now, a few months ago, Elon had mentioned that this cheaper model was just going to be a version of the Model Y, and that's what we got. What was a bit surprising, though, is that we also got a standard version of the Model 3. And the Model 3 here seems to be actually a pretty decent car, a good deal. Not much has been stripped away. There's a few things here or there. It basically seems like the car that they sell in Mexico, but they're just bringing it to the US. So it's got cloth seats and not as many fancy features, no ambient lighting, things like that. But generally from the outside, you wouldn't notice that this is anything different than your standard Model 3. But where that's different is with the Model Y. This is where things get really confusing. This car is significantly different than what you get with the premium or performance Model Y. There's a lot of changes, and you notice it visually up front. I mean, there's no light bar in the front, there's no light bar in the back. That is the easiest way to tell which kind of car you are looking at. There are smaller 18-inch aero wheels, and then when you get in the car, this is probably where the biggest difference is. You get textile seats instead of the vegan leather you're used to. There's a redesigned center console that's more of a pass-through, kind of like the Cybertruck. There's no ambient lighting, there's no glass roof, although I guess that is technically still there, but it's not accessible. There's no rear screen. The vents in the back seats are manually operated. There's no cup holders unless you fold down the middle seat. In the rear, even the front has been redesigned and looks kind of janky, I guess you'd say. So this car really does remove a lot. Now, luckily it actually keeps quite a bit as well, so it's still got great range at 321 miles. It's a slightly smaller battery, so that's where some of the cost savings hopefully comes from. 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds. And I think the biggest thing that is still here, especially from Tesla's perspective, is full self-driving. So even though you have all these things stripped away, you still have full self-driving capability. And given how good that is these days, I think that actually is a big plus because there's really no other car that can do what FSD can right now, but you're getting it at the base entry-level model. So all of that, I mean, it sounds fine. That's basically what we were expecting this car to be. The issue though is the price. It's only $5,000 cheaper than the premium model. 40K, that's what it enters at. I mean, we were kind of hoping that maybe it'd be 35 at the most, even 30. It's just not. And because of this, I'm not entirely sure what the point is, why Tesla did it in this way. Although I do have a few ideas that I think make some sense. Now, real quick before we continue, I want to thank this video's sponsor, Jackery. This is their Solar Generator 1000 V2. Now, I've been using this for quite a while at this point. This is one of my go-to power stations, and it's packing a ton. This is a 1070 watt-hour capacity battery with 1500 watts of AC output. So in this relatively small and light package, you are packing a ton of power for really everything you need, and it keeps you powered up when you're out on the go or really anywhere else. And it keeps families like mine connected either at home or outdoors. You can use it really anywhere. Now with this capacity, you can run a ton of things. For instance, a coffee maker, or I like to charge my cameras and my drones, or when I'm going out camping, I have a portable refrigerator that I'm able to power for hours. And it does all of this in a package that is 18% smaller than last generation. So when you're taking it with you, it's very portable. In fact, you can even fold down the handle so that it fits in a nice tight spot, which if you've ever gone camping or packed out your rig, you know that the space is very important. And not only that, it's 30% lighter too. So if you're carrying a lot of stuff already, well, this shouldn't add as much weight as it would have in the past. Now this has all the ports you'd need. It's got 3 AC ports, it's got USB-C, 2 of them, got a USB-A port. Really anything that you need to power or plug, you're gonna be able to, including a carport. And I use this to power my computer, my camera, my phone, and you don't need a brick or anything. You just plug it right into the battery. Now luckily, when it does eventually drain and you need to recharge it, it does that super quickly as well. So 0 to 100%, you can do that that in just 1 hour. Or if you're using these 200-watt Solar Saga solar panels, if you had 2 of these, well, you can recharge the entire battery in just 3.8 hours, which for solar, that's actually quite fast. And importantly, if you do decide to buy this, well, it's going to last you quite a long time because inside are lithium iron phosphate batteries. So after 10 years, you should still have 70% capacity, and that's with regular use. So that is quite a long time. It's going to be a good investment. And if that's something you are interested in, you want to pick one up for yourself, I'll leave links down below in the description where you can get the most affordable prices. So if you're in the market, be sure to check those links. But yeah, if you're in the market for a portable power station, which I think these days everyone should have, Jackery is a pretty good place to start. If you've been watching my channel or check out other videos, which thank you for doing so, that would be really nice if you did, well, you know that I talk about technology as well, like iPhones and Apple and those types of products. And well, the more I think about this new Model Y release, the more I think of it as like an iPhone launch, especially something like the iPhone 17. Many of these technology companies have products that are ranked in a way that make it very easy, and in fact, very hard not to buy the more expensive product or the, technically better product. For example, for the iPhone, for years, you would have the base model, which comes in at like 128 gigabytes. And so people would come in wanting just the cheapest phone, but realize, hey, I need more storage. So when you bump up the storage, well, now you could get like the pro level iPhone for nearly the same price or just a little bit more. But then once you get to that one where maybe you want to bump the storage as well there, so maybe I can just get the pro version. I mean, you see how this happens. It's this price creep. You start at the base model, that's what gets everyone in the door, but then you quickly raise from there based on the features you actually want and need. And it seems that's kind of exactly what Tesla is doing here as well. And it makes sense. I mean, they're basically a tech company at this point. They just happen to make cars as well. But that's really what this car seems like. It seems like a car that they don't actually want anyone to buy, but rather just a car that might get people in the door. Because they'll say, hey, I want a Model Y. They'll log onto the website and see that, hey, it starts at 40K now. Great, I'm gonna go in, buy one. But then they get into the showroom, look at the car and say, okay, well, it's fine, but how much would it be to get the nice one? And then you realize it's only $5,000 more. Honestly, I don't know very many people that are in the market for a $40,000 vehicle or a Tesla that would be unwilling to spend $5,000 for the amount that you get to that premium model. The feature difference is honestly huge and actually meaningful, and the price really just isn't. And this isn't the first time Tesla has done something like this. I mean, you can remember back with the original Model 3, they released that $35,000 version for like a few weeks. I only know a few people that ever even had a chance to buy one. And most recently, they announced the standard Cybertruck, which had a ton of features removed, very similar to this Model Y. And that was only $10,000 cheaper than the significantly better all-wheel drive version. And that was very clearly not something Tesla was expecting or even wanting to sell very many of. It seemed like it was simply a way for Tesla to say that we have a more affordable car, even if no one's gonna buy it. And I think the proof in that is that, well, Tesla no longer sells that version of the Cybertruck. They now just have the all-wheel drive and Cyberbeast like they did before. Not only because people weren't buying it, but also because I don't think that was really ever the plan. Now that they're selling it in other countries like Saudi Arabia and South Korea, they're able to sell more inventory, so they don't need to make it up with that standard model. They're theoretically able to sell more vehicles now, so we don't have to pretend that people are buying the standard model. We can just stick to what people actually want. And I get the feeling that's exactly what is happening with this Model Y. It's not the car that very many people will actually want and get, but it is there in case. And so that is the first thing that I think is very likely here. It's that Tesla's not trying to sell this car, but rather they're trying to upsell you to the next higher version. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to walk into a showroom, see this base model car and say, yeah, that's not what I want. Give me the next higher end model. I think that's a big part of this. But another theory that might explain this is that this is not a car that they really wanted to make, but just something that they needed to make. And it's actually just a holdover until we get the real affordable car. Like I said up front, this affordable Tesla had been rumored for years and years. But what we originally expected it to be was a Model Q or a Model 2, this smaller, more affordable car. We're talking $25,000. Now we did see the Cybercab, which could be that vehicle, but that just seems like a different category story at this point. And I think it's entirely possible that Tesla is still working on this more affordable model, but they just needed to release something for shareholders and for the market to hopefully react, especially after the federal incentives went away. They just needed something to fill that space. And so this is what they came up with. It's not much different than the other cars, so they can just strip a few things away and it's easy to manufacture. And so I think they just released it to satisfy the market, really. And so here's my no data whatsoever prediction that hopefully comes true, but probably won't. I just think maybe there is some data behind it. And it's that they actually still are working on that more affordable Model 2, Model Q that had been rumored for years, but that it actually is something like the Cybercab. And if you remember, we had seen leaked photos of what looks like the Cybercab, but with a steering wheel. So what if that is in fact the more affordable model, but it's just not ready yet? So Tesla releases the standard models at a more expensive price than we expected, but that's because the more affordable model is still coming and they just needed time. I don't know. There's not really that much data to support this, but I think it could be possible. But I think the bigger elephant in the room here, I guess you'd say, is that all these plans and rumors we've heard about Tesla products, well, it seems like they're just kind of getting thrown out the window because full self-driving actually looks like it might happen. I know Elon had been saying that, you know, this is coming next year. He's been saying that forever, but it seems like we're actually getting very close to that being a reality. And in a world where full self-driving is real, the product landscape of what people spend their money on and what they are willing to buy or what they want to buy, that could look very different. So in a world where full self-driving is real, then why wouldn't you just hop in a Cybercab instead of buying a $25,000 Cybercab? Or why would I care that I jump into a standard Model Y when it's just picking me up and that's all I need it to do? A world where full self-driving is real, and I mean like really real, not what we have now with version 14, even though that is really, really good, but a world where we really don't need to drive our car anymore if we don't want to. Well, I feel like that changes quite a lot when it comes to people's buying preferences. Now, we haven't entered that world yet, so it's kind of hard to say exactly, but it could explain a lot as to why Tesla's plans of their products have changed so drastically. But yeah, the standard versions of these cars are here. And if you're in the market for one, I think it is still worth looking at because it is a more affordable vehicle. And if that's all you need, well, then that's all you need. But the more you think about it, this new Model Y just doesn't make all that much sense. And I'm hoping that Tesla has a bigger plan. We'll see if that's true, but I guess only time will tell.